Greetings, I'm here to do my debrief on my shadow of the week. My shadow of the week is my version of Shop My Stash or Makeup Bag of the Week. I try a shadow or a color or a collection or a theme, and then I get on at the end of the week and I talk about what I liked and what I learned. This time I've been playing with products from the All Natural Face. I'm going to do this debrief in two parts because there is a lot of product to talk about. The first part will focus on foundational products and the second part will focus on the eyeshadows. I have the All Natural Face subscription box. That's $15 a month, free shipping, so I have quite a bit of product from them. They have excellent samples anyway. For example, you can get a sample of every color foundation they make in your range for $4.60. The foundation does have some zinc oxide in it. I don't know how much sun protection it affords, but it is enough for today that I won't use the Suntegrity underneath. It is 29 degrees outside. It is snowing. Today is not a day that's going to see a lot of sun action. I am going to get started by using this Philosophy Divine Inspiration palette because I want one product from it, which is this right here. It is an illumination product. You can put it under your foundation. It works as a primer. It is not a natural product, but it is not a bad product. It isn't preserved with parabens or phenoxyethanol. And I'm just going to put this on with a Laranine foundation brush. I'm going to use a sponge to apply the foundation, so it will push this in. While I have that palette out, I'm just going to grab some of this lip gloss. I don't use these except for if I have the palette open at home, just to moisturize the lips a little. Gives me a little bit of color on the lips so I can see what I'm working with. Otherwise, I have no natural coloring in my lips at all. One of the nice things about the All Natural Face Foundation is that it comes in a gazillion shades. Well, not a gazillion, but a lot of shades. So you can really play around with color tones and color ranges. I got the liquid foundation in the rose porcelain colors, which was a mistake. The liquid foundation is really much too drying for me for the winter, and unfortunately my skin is only pink porcelain during, say, winter and early spring. So I'll be able to use this in the early spring, but that's probably pretty much it for this. This also is preserved with Cosmotial CQ. Don't know how I feel about that. Read different things. As far as preservative, it's not bad. There's not a lot of data on it. Some people do object to it in the use of products, but just to show you, these are the porcelain colors. This is the one called Porcelain Goddess, and then this is Ivory Rose. There is a shade in between these two colors, but I really like this ability to go 2 shades lighter. If I were to do this over again, I would only order the cream foundations. I wouldn't do the liquids. The liquids are just too drying for me to use most seasons of the year. Add on top of that the Cosmotial CQ preservative, and yeah, I would just go with the cream. I am going to play today with their olive tone foundations. Normally, I would never find an olive toned foundation, but in this case, I can find it, and I can find it in 2 shades lighter than my skin color, which is also unheard of. So there is this shade, Olive Pale, that I'll be using, Olive Warm, Olive Warmer, and Olive Warmest. Yeah, 4 different olive shades, all in a fair complexion. This is the Olive Warmest. I can use that as a contour. This is the Olive Warmer, and I can use it all over my face. Then in between is an Olive Warm, which would also suit me because you can't even see it, and then finally the Olive Pale. So what I've done with these, which I think is really a lot of fun, is that I've gotten the Olive Pale and the Olive Warmer in the cream foundation. To apply the foundation, I am going to use a damp sponge. I have put that sponge in some very warm water with rosemary and herb facial steam syrup from Shaytera. I use this to get that sponge nice and clean. Put it in really hot water and then just let it sit for a bit until it's cool enough to work with. I've got my sponge ready, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the Olive Pale foundation and just put some of that on where I want the pale. Now I'm going to take this olive warmer shade, which is actually 2 shades darker, and put that on the other parts of my face. Whoops, forgot cheeks, high cheeks. I want actually olive pale. So I slap them on just like that, have my sponge. You can use a beauty blender. There are a couple places where I really don't want it to grab the wrinkles, so I'm just going to go over those and really press those in. And I will even take some balm over that. The coverage on this is going to be light to medium. It is not by any means a full coverage foundation. If you want fuller coverage, you're probably going to have to buff in some minerals, which I will do just in some places where I want a bit more coverage. Okay, I've pulled out a small fluffy brush, and what I've just done is put each of the shades on this palette. So I have the pale, the warm, the warmer, and the warmest, and I'll just start putting those in where I want to have a little bit more coverage, and I'm going to avoid the wrinkles. Before I do that, I'm going to go back to the cream and just add a bit more of that on the eye area, because that's one place I definitely want to build coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Olive Warm, which is the second olive shade, and just work in a couple of places where I want a little bit more coverage. I don't need a lot of spot correcting here. I'm going to take this shade Olive Pale and see what I can do about the evil age spots. And because I want it to match up, I'll go down this other side as well. Bring it down the center of the nose. Next, I'm going to take the darkest shade I have, which is the Olive Warmest, and use that to contour. And now, and here's where I have to be most careful, I am going to take the third shade, which is the Olive Warmer. So it's Olive Pale, Olive Warm, Olive Warmer, Olive Warmest. So I'm going to take the Olive Warmer and try to blend all of those colors together a little bit. And when I do this, this is where I really have to beware the wrinkly bits. So I'm going to work around those. I'm just going to be very gentle. They do have a fix-it product that you can use both to spray on your brush or to fix eyeshadows with, or also to fix your foundation. It is too drying for me. I didn't care for it, but it works for my hair. Several of you were asking about my hair, and I'm trying to grow it out. And so what I do is just set it with, what do you call them? Rag rollers, you know, sponge rag roller kind of thing, and get my hair nice and curly because it hides the fact that it needs to be cut, which is really the condition it's in. And I just run my fingers through it. I don't dare take a brush through it. Sometimes I will clip it with little clips. And voila, Fix-It product works great for that. So even though it's not designed for that, it does work for that, and that's what I'm using it, just to hold the curl in my hair. What I prefer to set the foundation with is this Youthful Trends Caffeinated Makeup Primer. Really like this stuff. Natural product. It's by Green Stations. I believe you can pick it up at Vitacost. I've reordered it several times. I will reorder it again. You just spray and it smells like cucumbers. It's really got a nice smell. And my foundation will be fixed. Does it hold up as well as Cowgirl Dirt? No. In fact, nothing really has. Does it hold up as well as my Philosophy foundation, which has the phenoxyethanol in that I'm trying to use and get out for Makeout 2013? No. Will I purchase more of these? Absolutely. Why? Because of the color range. What works for me are these olive shades. I can wear their tan shades and I can wear their rose or porcelain shades depending on what time of year it is. That's really nice. The price is amazing. These two pots, Olive Warmer and Olive Pale, are $6.50 a piece. The powders are $3.50 a piece. So for $20, I have 4 shades of olive foundation that I can mix, match, contour, highlight, do all sorts of things with. And for me, I can do that with the olive shades if I want. I can do it with the porcelain shades if I want. I can do it with the tan shades, which also work on me. The beige shades did not. But you know, you can go through. They have so many choices. They actually have a tan and then a dark tan. The other thing you can do is adjust your foundation depending on the time of the year. So if I didn't want to go this pale, I could really just go to the Olive Warmer instead of the Olive Warm shade. So it's a lot of fun to just play with the different combinations that you can get from this foundation. It is more of a 3 seasons foundation for me. It's not one that I'm particularly going to want to use in the dead of winter. For the dead of winter, it's going to be Cowgirl Dirt for me because that puppy is moisturizing, and at the end of the day, it's still moisturizing. But the Cowgirl Dirt doesn't come in all the color range that the All Natural face comes in, and the Cowgirl Dirt is more expensive. So for a really inexpensive foundation, a drugstore kind of foundation in the natural organic world, yeah, this stuff I really, really enjoy using, and I enjoy playing with the colors. That is part 1 of my debrief on my shadow of the week. I've got a lot to say this week, I guess. And now I will move on to part 2. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you are having warmer days than we are, but at any rate, make it a great, great day and a great, great week. Thanks. Bye.